Welcome to the AI Research Roundup. I'm Alex. Today we're looking at a paper trending on X, published on March 1st, 2026, just 2 days ago. It maps 43 benchmarks and over 72,000 task instances to real-world jobs, revealing that current AI development almost entirely ignores the sectors where most human labor and economic value are actually concentrated. The paper is titled, "How Well Does Agent Development Reflect Real-World Work?" And as we'll see later, the specific gaps they uncover are both surprising and crucial for the next generation of agents. To quantify the mismatch between AI benchmarks and human jobs, Figure 1 outlines the classification framework used in this study. At the top, a specific task, such as reviewing expense categorization, serves as the input. The left side shows the domain taxonomy, which maps this task to real-world occupations, like accountants or auditors, within broader job families. Simultaneously, the right side applies a skill taxonomy, breaking the work down into fundamental activities like information input or interacting with others. Applying that framework, Table 1 details the 43 benchmarks included in the study, categorized by their primary focus, such as software engineering or web navigation. The columns on the far right display the coverage percentages for domains and skills. A key insight here is the disparity in the bottom row. While the benchmarks collectively cover about 85% of skills, they only touch 56% of domains. This suggests that while agents practice a wide variety of actions, they do so in a narrow slice of professional contexts. For example, look at WebShop. It contains over 12,000 tasks, yet covers less than 9% of domains, whereas the smaller GDP-Val benchmark achieves much higher diversity, with far fewer examples. So Figure 2 breaks this down by sector, revealing a stark mismatch. The left panel shows benchmark effort, where computer and mathematical tasks dominate with over 8,000 examples. However, if we shift to the middle panel for real-world employment, that sector is actually quite small, representing only about 5 million workers. In contrast, fields like office and administrative support employ over 18 million people, but see much less testing. Finally, the right panel tracks capital or economic value. Notice how high-value sectors like management and legal are virtually ignored in benchmarks, despite their massive earning potential. So moving from broad domains to specific skills, Figure 3 reveals an even sharper imbalance across 4 key activity types. The purple bars represent benchmark effort, and 2 massive spikes immediately jump out, getting information at the top and working with computers at the bottom. These 2 categories dominate current testing, yet account for less than 5% of actual human employment. In stark contrast, look at the interacting with others section in the middle. It shows almost zero benchmark coverage, despite the massive green and orange bars indicating it is a primary driver of both jobs and economic value. Beyond simple coverage, Figure 4 examines the complexity of the tasks themselves. The bars extending upward show the average number of domains a task touches, while the bars extending downward show the count of distinct skills required. On the left, the cyan web and mobile benchmarks, like Web Arena, have relatively short bars, suggesting their tasks are often confined to a single domain. However, in the purple general work section, benchmarks like the agent company stretch much further in both directions, indicating they capture the multi-step, cross-functional workflows typical of real jobs. Alright, having established the complexity gaps, Figure 6 asks how well agents actually perform as that difficulty rises. The first panel plots success rates across work domains, showing that for most fields, like sales, performance hits 0 by complexity level 6. Only the computer domain, in blue, extends further, yet its reliability still crashes on harder tasks. The middle panel reveals that agents handle solitary skills, like work output, better than interactive ones, where success drops immediately. Finally, the charts on the right confirm this fragility persists, regardless of the agent framework or language model used. Wrapping up, 2 takeaways stand out. Current benchmarks heavily overrepresent coding tasks, while ignoring the vast majority of high-value human work in sectors like management and law. To close this gap, future development must prioritize realistic, multi-step workflows over simple, isolated actions. That's it for this episode of the AI Research Roundup. I'm Alex. Thanks for listening.